The moment you find out you are getting a raise feels like a turning point. You do the mental math instantly. You think about what changes, what becomes easier, what pressure finally lifts. For a few days, you feel genuinely optimistic about your financial situation. Then the first new paycheck arrives. You go through the next month, and somewhere around the third or fourth week, you realize something uncomfortable. Nothing feels different. The account still runs low at the same point in the month. The same small purchases still require the same mental calculation. The same financial anxiety that was supposed to disappear is still quietly sitting there. You got the raise. You did everything right. And somehow you feel just as financially stretched as before, maybe even more so. This is not a personal failure. It is a systemic pattern that affects the majority of working people. And understanding why it happens is the first step to making sure your next raise actually changes something. The first reason a raise disappears faster than expected is taxation. When your income crosses into a higher bracket, a larger percentage of that additional income goes directly to the government before it ever reaches your account. Most people calculate their raise based on the gross number, the figure their employer announced. But the actual amount that lands in your account after tax is noticeably smaller. Depending on your tax situation, a portion of every extra dollar earned at the higher rate is taxed at that higher rate, meaning the real increase in take-home pay is often significantly less than the headline number suggested. Nobody sits you down and explains this clearly when the raise is announced. You hear the number, you feel the excitement, and then reality quietly adjusts your expectations when the payslip arrives. The second reason is inflation, and this one is particularly frustrating because it is completely outside your control. The cost of everything you buy regularly, groceries, fuel, utilities, insurance, rent, has been rising consistently. In many cases, the pace of that rise has outpaced salary increases across entire industries. This means that even a meaningful raise on paper can result in no real improvement in purchasing power whatsoever. You are earning more, but everything costs more too, and sometimes the costs have risen faster than your income did. The raise that felt significant in percentage terms may represent almost no change in what you can actually afford in real life. When inflation is running at 4 or 5% and your raise is 3%, you did not get a raise at all in any practical sense. You got a slight pay cut disguised as an increase. The third reason is what behavioral economists call lifestyle inflation, and this is the one that most people are least aware of in the moment it is happening. The moment your income increases, your perception of what is normal and affordable quietly shifts. You start ordering the slightly more expensive option at restaurants without consciously deciding to. You upgrade a subscription you were previously on a basic plan for. You stop thinking twice about a purchase that previously would have caused some hesitation. None of these individual decisions feel significant. Each one feels like a small and completely reasonable adjustment to your new income level. But collectively, they absorb the entire raise within a few months and often exceed it. Lifestyle inflation is not about being irresponsible or careless. It is a natural psychological response to feeling like you have more room. The problem is that the room fills up almost immediately, and the financial position ends up identical to before, just at a higher spending level. The fourth reason is fixed costs. Every year, certain unavoidable expenses increase whether you choose them or not. Rent goes up at renewal. Insurance premiums rise. Subscription services increase their pricing. Internet and phone plans add small charges. Healthcare costs creep higher. These are not discretionary adjustments. They happen automatically and require no decision from you. When you add up all the fixed cost increases across a full year, they often represent a significant portion of any raise you received. The raise did not go toward anything enjoyable or meaningful. It went toward paying for the same things you were already paying for, just at this year's higher prices. The result is that your raise was already committed before you had a chance to do anything with it. The fifth, and perhaps most overlooked reason, is the absence of any intentional system for handling new income. Most people receive a raise and simply let the extra money flow into their account and then out again through the normal spending process. There is no decision made about where it goes. There is no percentage allocated before it becomes available to spend. The money arrives, it mixes with everything else, and it disappears into the regular rhythm of monthly expenses without ever being directed toward anything that builds lasting value. This is the core problem. It is not that people are spending irresponsibly. It is that the extra money has no job assigned to it, so it quietly finds its own use without creating any lasting change. The solution to all of this is not complicated, but it does require a specific and deliberate response the moment a raise is confirmed. Before the new paycheck arrives, before the extra money ever touches your spending account, a fixed percentage of the increase should be automatically redirected into investments, retirement contributions, or income-producing assets, not after expenses are paid, not with whatever is left over at the end of the month, before. The reason this matters is that money you never see as available never gets treated as available. If the raise goes directly into a separate investment account via automatic transfer on payday, your lifestyle never gets the opportunity to adjust upward to absorb it. Your spending patterns remain the same, your investment position improves, and the raise actually moves your financial life forward instead of simply funding a more expensive version of the same position. There is a practical number that makes this approach work consistently. When a raise is received, redirect at least 50% of the net after-tax increase directly into investments. Allow yourself to enjoy the other 50% as genuine spending improvement. This balance does two things simultaneously. It prevents the entire raise from being consumed by lifestyle inflation and rising costs, and it still gives you a real improvement in your day-to-day financial experience, so the discipline does not feel punishing. The half that goes toward investments begins compounding immediately. Over 5, 10, or 20 years, that redirected portion of every raise accumulates into something significant, while the other half funded a genuinely better quality of life along the way. The uncomfortable truth is that a raise alone never changes your financial trajectory. What changes your trajectory is what you do with the raise in the first 30 days before your habits and costs have a chance to absorb it.